Hey everybody, welcome to the Midnight RoughCast, episode number 11. I am your host, Josh, sitting here with Patrick.
Hey there, everybody.
And then there's no Greg and there's no Tom. It's a skeleton cast tonight. We are alive and well. We just haven't been doing this for like a little while.
We've been busy. We shot a couple. Well, we shot another short since the last time we met.
Yeah, we smashed another one in there.
And so we've been a little busy.
Yeah, but it's been busy's been good. We as Patrick said, we shot a short in between casting, and Patrick's been editing on Ghost Hunters, which is going well. Yes,
it's going well, but going slow.
Yeah. So the life in the film and the work and the things have been going on. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a break, but it's nice to get back on the mic and chat a little bit about what we've been watching, what we've been seeing, and then our film for the night. So it is. I was really hoping to do a big group podcast for this film because I was such a fan of it. But see how long we can go with the two of us.
Well, as we were talking, we had two movies picked out.
Yeah, and
it was between Split and Get Out.
Yeah,
and because Split is similar to other M. Night Shyamalan movies in a way. Yeah. In a way. Mm-hmm. However, I thought Get Out was so extremely unique.
Yeah.
In the process, in the way it was made, everything else. I thought that was probably more suited for the big group to talk about that one. So
for sure. So do you want to go, Patrick, and talk a little bit about, you been watching anything?
Let's see. Have I been watching anything? Not really. I have not been. I did catch a documentary, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's called, I think it's called Making John Bonet.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
It's on Netflix, and it's really kind of an interesting twist because they take local actors from Colorado who are essentially auditioning for a dramatization of the John Benet Ramsey family, everything that happened during that time.
Yeah.
And getting their take on what happened.
So they're auditioning to play characters.
Right. So there's people auditioning to play Jean Benet, to play the parents, to play the brother, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And then the actors themselves give their take on what happened.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's really kind of weird because you have some really incredibly intelligent, intellectual actors doing some of the stuff, and then you have some people that are just flakes.
Yeah,
that are giving their input on it, and it was just a really, really interesting documentary with that. But other than that, the only things I've been seeing is my granddaughter was in town for a weekend or so I got to see like Moana 12 or 25 times.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. It all just kind of
fed
into each other.
I got you.
Other than that, I just catch my half-hour Hulu stuff here and there. So nothing like really jumping out except that John Bonet piece.
Gotcha. So I did this. So we were supposed to do this trailer shoot for a feature film that we have called Devil's Den that fell through the cracks, because that happens. So, but leading up to that, I've been watching kind of films that would inspire that a little bit. They're along the lines of Devil's Den, and I was trying to get some like ideas and some aesthetic ideas. So I watched. Have you seen the Wolf Creek movies?
I don't believe I have.
Yeah, Wolf Creek. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
You should check them out because they're a lot of fun. They're also based off of like a kind of a case that happened in Australia. So it's kind of like Texas Chainsaw in a way. It's like they're based off like live or actual events.
Okay.
But they're a lot of fun. Wolf Creek 1 and 2, both on Netflix. So I checked both those out, and then I've been watching a lot of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because I really feel like and you've read Devil's Den, kind of, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
You read through that. So
Yeah.
it has that feel to it a lot for me. So I've been watching a lot of that and special features and just crazy amount of that I had sitting at my house. I haven't watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a really long time, and I drug that out the other day and was just like, you forget, you watch these remakes and then you go back and watch the originals and you're just like, it doesn't even, well, the remake had Jessica Biel in it, so we can't really compare those anyway. But I don't know, they just hold up, and it was a lot of fun to go back and visit those. And then I started watching the Alien. I bought the quadrilogy. I pulled the trigger and bought that. So I started watching through those because Alien Covenant comes out Friday.
That's correct.
And I'm trying to catch up because I have not seen those in a really long time either.
Now, have you seen Prometheus?
I did see Prometheus a long time ago.
Okay. Are you going to try to catch that one before?
I might. I definitely am not going to get to Covenant by Friday.
Okay.
Based off of where I'm at and watching the series, there's no way I'm getting there.
All right.
But I will within the week, I'm hoping. So, because Guardians of the Galaxy is on my plate as well, because my brother's in town and he wants to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So, I'm going to go. Even though I didn't like the first one, the best thing about that movie is the soundtrack, I thought. So, but I told him I'd go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and then Alien Covenant will follow that.
Now, you mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy. I did see that this last weekend.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Marvel movies. I love Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I know you're not a huge fan of Marvel movies.
I'm not a huge fan of comic book movies in general.
Right. And while I didn't feel it was as good as the first one, it was still highly entertaining. So
yeah.
And I've got something to admit to you, because you talked about what you've been watching.
Uh-oh.
And you mentioned the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
I have never seen any of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Any of
movies.
them?
None.
Okay, those would be. I would drop them off on your doorstep.
All right.
Tomorrow.
All right.
Catch them. There's obviously Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just like knowing what you know about how they shot that movie is crazy. They got that movie done.
Okay.
So I mean, it's indie, low budget, no budget film. Just getting a bunch of people together and going out and just like every indie filmmaker is doing now, just going out and shooting and getting done what you can get done and shooting in 110 degree heat in Texas and dying and just the stories. I'll give you the movie and then watch the special features, because just the way they made that movie was the fact they got it done was crazy.
All right.
So that will be dropped off on your doorstep.
Now, do you even have the one with Matthew McConaughey? I think was in one of the remakes.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, I do not have.
Well, because they stopped distributing that one.
I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, 3 on VHS back when I was like, when I shouldn't have been watching those movies. So, but I have not seen those in forever. So
that one would happen to be on a list of movies that production companies never want you to see.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey did, because it was Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger were both in it.
That's correct. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there was a new release of that ever came out. But I have Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then I have the remake, and I have Texas Chainsaw, and I have Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. So I have 4 at least at home, and because Leatherface is coming out this year also.
Right.
So I'm a big fan of those movies. So
well, I just know it's an iconic movie, and it's just one of those I've never seen.
Yeah, I will get that to you.
All right, excellent.
So now we've gone through our short list of films that we watched. We can knock out our feature.
Sounds good.
Since we don't have a topic, and we're just getting back into when you don't podcast for like 4 or 5, however many weeks.
Oh, it's been longer than that.
Yeah,
I think.
It's really hard to like slide back into it. You think you just turn on the mic and like you can just here we go, and it's like there's a rhythm, and it's hard to like get back into that rhythm of podcasting. So I promise, hopefully, we just like get back on our podcasting schedule and stick to our meetings and go, hopefully. So, because I've been jonesing the podcast now for like, I remember sending out messages going, guys, please, it's like we gotta knock one out.
Yeah.
So, good to be back on the mic. So our feature film, Patrick.
Hey, our feature film is a movie that was released this year, called Split.
Yeah.
And for me, it was M. Night Shyamalan returning to some of his roots there. So let me give you the breakdown on Split. While the mental divisions of those who disassociate with dissociative identity disorder have long fascinated and eluded science, it is believed that some can also manifest unique physical attributes for each personality, a cognitive and psychological prism within a single being. Though Kevin has evidenced 23 personalities to his trusted psychiatrist, there remains one still submerged who is set to materialize and dominate all the others. Compelled to abduct 3 teenage girls, led by the willful, observant Casey, Kevin reaches a war for... Let me reread that. Kevin reaches a war for survival among all those who contained within him. I am having trouble reading tonight.
Yes,
I don't know what the deal is. I almost want to start over and edit all of that out. So, Kevin reaches a war for survival among all of those contained within him, as well as everyone around him, as the walls between his compartments shatter apart.
We got through it.
Oh, my Lord. What is up with that? Let's see, Rotten Tomatoes gave it 75 with an audience score of 79%, while IMDb gave it 7.4 stars, and the Metascore ended up being 62. So, all-around popularity, good.
Yeah, it was...
For this movie.
I saw Split in theaters 3 times, and I never go... There's never a movie that I feel like I see that I feel like I have to keep going back. The only other movie that I've seen like that I wish I would have gone back and seen at least once more was Get Out.
Right.
And I just dropped the ball on that one. Initial thoughts, Patrick.
Initial thoughts for me is it's unfortunate that movies like this are not considered for Oscar nominations, because to me, James McAvoy knocked it out of the park on this one. And overall, as a movie, I was 98% satisfied with this. Just jacked at the end of the movie. There was a little bit that I kind of went, but overall, once again, M. Night Shyamalan getting back to the roots of not knowing what's going to happen next. James McAvoy playing the split personalities so incredibly well, and then the supporting actress, the female lead, Anya Taylor-Joy,
who was from The Witch,
right? I felt was just, I don't want to say she underplayed it, because she didn't. It was subtle. Her performance to me was extremely subtle and effective and moving. And I don't want to leave out Betty Buckley. Yeah. Because for me, Betty Buckley has kind of been she's a staple in the acting community. Yeah. That everything I've seen her do is kind of the same. But knowing her age and knowing the content of this movie, I thought she was amazing in this. So when you take those 3 actors, put them all together, this was an extremely solid movie.
Yeah. Let's talk about Let's talk about that 2%.
Right. Well, I don't know that I can talk about the 2% without giving much away. To me, it was about the manifestation of the 24th personality.
Okay, yeah.
In the way that it was portrayed. But I don't know if that comes back to the, do we say, comic book style of this movie?
Okay, so you're talking about the 24th personality. Okay, so are you talking about the idea that they can become what they feel like they... Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yes.
You're talking about having an issue with that?
It was the physical transformation that bothered me.
Okay.
It wasn't the mental transformation; it was the physical transformation.
Okay.
And I can't say it without giving it away.
Well, okay, so let's flip it out long enough to where we can just, drop it, I think.
Are you sure?
I feel like it because it played in theater for what, like 7, 8, 9 weeks? I mean, it plays here for a while.
For a long time.
And it's been out on Blu-ray, DVD for 3 or 4 weeks at the point now, too. So we're talking, what, 3 months? 3 months? 3 months?
It's
You've had a chance to see Split now for 3 months?
The 24th character took over. The 24th persona took him over.
Yeah.
Took over his body, but it wasn't just a mental manifestation. It was a physical manifestation in which his body changed.
Yes.
And he had abilities that he would not be able to have if he wasn't like a superhero, so to speak.
Yeah.
And he was doing things that are physically impossible for a human to do.
With the climbing of the wall and
exactly.
the bars.
Okay, I was trying not to say that, but
Fuck
yes.
it. I just dropped it.
Okay,
Sorry, guys.
I'm blaming it on Josh.
Yeah,
now.
it's fine.
So I didn't mind the bending of the bars because we know that people are able to have superhuman strength.
Yes.
They're able to lift cars to save their loved ones. They're able to do that. But the climbing of the walls, it was like Spider-Man all of a sudden. It wasn't like he was grabbing onto cliff parts and climbing up. It was actually him just climbing up the side of a wall and kind of hanging off of it.
Yeah. No, I can get that. It was the idea that they believe like they are what they are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And M. Night Shyamalan got that from. So there's a case. I was looking it up again really quick. Back in 1955, that was the very first person that was diagnosed with dissociative disorder.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And he, again, it was the belief that if he believed he could do something, or he had a personality that believed that they could do something, that they could do it. And Shyamalan, I think, M. Night Shyamalan based his main character, or James McAvoy's character, off of that, I think, first person ever diagnosed. I like watching James McAvoy transition from character to character.
Oh my God.
There was one point at the movie where he played, I think, 8, 9, 10 different characters at the same time. Yeah. When he got to the end of the movie, and he had the lead character, her face to face, and he switched. Just watching him switch was crazy. And again, like you said, the fact that these movies are not nominated for Oscars is just really cheating performances like that. Right. I liked, what was her name? Anya Taylor? Yes. Yeah. I liked her in this a lot more than I liked her in The Witch. I thought she was better in this than although completely different movies, and I hated The Witch, but I thought she was way better in this than she was in The Witch.
I think she had more to do in this one. I think there was more range of character for this one.
And there was no shortage of, again, talent, because the two girls that you didn't mention were fantastic in the movie and held it down pretty well as well. Yeah. Shyamalan, he was, I remember texting people when I got out of this movie, it was like, that dude's back with a major vengeance. Anything that anybody said from Unbreakable to Split, forget it, because he's about to just ruin everybody at this point. As far as
well, I mean, it all depends on what's going to happen with the sequel.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely talk about that. I mean, spoilers are coming, my friends. Because
but he's already announced the sequel.
He did announce it, yeah. So there's not. You're right. There's not really a spoiler.
There's no spoiler for that, and to me, that almost allows me to accept what I didn't like about that. That 2%. Yeah. Because if it's going to be in the same universe with Unbreakable, then it makes sense.
I love that he's doing that. Yeah. I love that he's bringing together multiple universes to make this next movie. That because when we got to the end of Split in the restaurant, and that reveal came, it was another one of those. I've had very few of those, but like it was another one of those like jump out of my seat and just be like, holy shit! There was nobody in the theater with me, by the way, when I saw Split. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Now, but it wasn't a twist like some of his other movies. It wasn't a twist.
Not at all. It was
just like all of a sudden this is an introduction.
Yeah. And I smiled from ear to ear, and I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it. I had to, I was going crazy in the theater by myself with that reveal. Anybody that hasn't seen it, drop it on him, Patrick. So Bruce Willis's character from Unbreakable
sitting in a bar and when the news thing breaks out about it, and he turns and there's his character.
Yeah,
you know something's going to happen from that point on, and for Shyamalan to come out and say, to announce that there's a sequel coming up with it was. I don't think he had to announce it because it was pretty much said at the end of the movie.
Now, were you a fan of Unbreakable?
I was not.
You were not?
No.
So, how do you feel then with him, since you liked Split and wasn't a fan of Unbreakable?
I think I was not a fan of Unbreakable because I was so wanting something like Sixth Sense.
Okay.
Everybody was looking, and that's where M. Night Shyamalan kind of painted himself into a corner.
Yeah.
Was that he knocked that movie out of the park.
Yeah.
And then everything after that
he won an Oscar.
Was compared to that. And so I think that's probably where I was disappointed with it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since.
Me neither.
So maybe revisiting that movie, I may think differently about it.
I think it's going to definitely take a revisit to Unbreakable just to transition into being able to watch Glass,
exactly,
which is his next movie coming out. Because it's been so long since I've visited that universe, and I know Split so well that you got to sit there and figure out how is he going to put this together. And he's already dropped little hints, like that Bruce Willis's character is now hunting down James McAvoy's character. But where does Samuel L. Jackson's character fit into everything?
Did he live through that movie?
I believe he's set to come back. Yeah.
Okay.
It's James
like I said, it's been.
Yeah.
I watched it once. I barely remember it.
James McAvoy, Bruce Willis, and Samuel L. Jackson will all be appearing in Glass, which the title is. It's like that's a great title.
Yeah.
But yeah, I said Split was so far my favorite. I think my favorite of the year of what I've seen. And I know there's a lot of films still set to come out this year, but Split has taken it for me so far.
Split is number 2 for me. Get Out is number 1.
Yeah, it sits on the fence.
Yeah,
it really does. But again, I did see Split in a theater that I paid for multiple times. And Get Out, like I felt like needed a second visit. I feel like the first time around you miss a lot. I feel like it's a film that if you went back and watched it a second time, there are things that you would not have seen the first time around.
Like things that you catch yourself going, how did I not see that?
Exactly.
Yeah. Because
when it came around to the end and they kind of started putting the pieces together,
right,
everything was like, oh, no shit, duh.
Yeah.
But now going back and watching it a second time, kind of knowing how it goes, I think would be a whole different movie.
Yeah. And I also think, when we discuss that movie, I think it also warrants talking about the director because, the writer-director is known for comedy.
Yep.
And yes, there's comic moments in that movie, but it's not a funny movie.
Not at all.
So
it's borderline uncomfortable to watch movie.
Exactly. So so I'm really looking forward to reviewing that one with the group.
Yeah.
Jumping back to Split.
Yeah.
I cannot say enough about McAvoy's performance.
Yeah.
I've always liked what he's done. I've been a fan of his since I saw him in a adaptation of Macbeth.
Okay.
In which he played a sous chef and works his way up to being a head chef.
Okay.
It was just a really, really cool take on Macbeth. And he just really, he was very young at that time. I'm sure he was in his very early 20s. So he's always impressed me with what he's done. But this, by far, I think puts him in the upper echelon of actors. Like Ed Norton level type stuff. When you when you've seen him with his American History X and all that other stuff. And I can't remember what's the name of the movie where he did do the split personality.
Primal Fear.
Primal Fear.
Yeah. Which was so good.
So to me, it will be a huge shame if he is not nominated for Best Actor.
Yeah, I said because Split. So they always avoid nominating horror films at the Oscars. They just avoid it like the plague. They won't do it. But except for Sixth Sense was nominated, but again, did it fall in that horror category?
See, I don't think it did.
It didn't really.
It was a thriller, but it was still a drama.
Yeah. So Split, I feel like, could fall in that same category.
Yeah.
It's not really horror.
Yeah.
It's thriller. But again, they could go either way with the nomination for him because they can avoid that because of the genre it falls into, which sucks. James McAvoy, I don't think I really know him from anything. I didn't see the X-Men movies that he was in. So Split, I think, was really the first dose of McAvoy that I ever got. And that was a good introduction for me as far as who he is as an actor. Watching special features on Split because I bought it as soon as it came out. Shyamalan talks a lot about how he had to find it. It came down to casting on this film, and all the names that he came through his desk and everything, and who he could cast, and it was going to be. It was going to make or break this film casting that part.
Right.
There's a lot of great actors who could have played one of these characters. There's not many actors that could have played 24. And like I said, he gives each one of them screen time and fair time. And he said that he sat there and he gave each character, their own, basically their own bio. This is who this person is. This is their tick. When he talked about playing the character of the child,
right?
When he first went towards that character, he talked about he was playing him more as a slow adult and not as a young kid.
Child.
So they had to go back to the drawing board on that character because he's like, I don't know how to play this as, like, what do I give this kid? Like, how do I play it? And then that's when the lisp came around. And he's like, all of a sudden, he gave this character this lisp, and all of a sudden he could do it.
Right.
And he did that with every character he played in that movie.
Right. It's a different role from what he's played before because he normally plays straight characters.
Yeah.
Good characters, but straight. I mean, this is one of the first ones where it's just like, which I felt really, really pushed his boundaries.
Yeah.
On it. Going back and looking at some of the other things he's done, the one I could probably say you can avoid is the Victor Frankenstein movie.
He was in that, with Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, I didn't even, yeah. And I actually was thinking about that movie today. I walk by it at my job all the time. I see it. I'm going, should I pick that up? Because it looks kind of interesting.
It's interesting, but about 3/4 of the way through, it's just
not good.
Yeah. You realize at that point you're going, maybe not.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be curious to see where. Again, we talk about McAvoy a lot. Anya Taylor really carried this movie, herself
on her own,
as well. And she's got a definite. Even after The Witch, you knew she was going to. Her roles were coming for her. You had to think of what was coming next to her. Split was perfect, and if she continues to play like those characters and fit into those like roles, she's gonna, I think, knock out some pretty kick-ass films.
Well,
herself.
She's already set for, let's see, after Split, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies. She's gonna be in Glass.
Oh, is she set for Glass?
Yes,
that'll be interesting.
She is set for Glass. She's set for X-Men.
That's too bad.
The New Mutants.
That's too bad.
Well, I wonder if McAvoy's going to be in that one too.
He's not playing Professor X anymore,
isn't he?
He said he wasn't going to do it anymore.
All right. Marrowbone, haven't heard of that one. The Sea Change, Thoroughbred, and The Miniaturist, which is a TV series. So I guess that's just looks like a guest spot.
Gotcha.
But yeah, she's good.
Yeah,
she's got a future ahead of her.
Yeah, she's not gonna fall out of any roles here anytime soon. So again, and I'm gonna go back to this again, and I know I mentioned this a lot, and it's a broken fucking record, and I'm gonna say it again though. Small, minimal characters, basically one location. There's 3 locations, but there's basically one main location for this film.
Right.
And I can't stress it enough for just the way I feel. It's just the way to go about making these small indie films, because I don't think he even made Split for that much. I don't even think he had that much money to make Split. I know they made a lot of money, but I don't think they even put that much money into it.
Yeah. Because it was basically the zoo, her office,
and the train station.
That
was it.
I mean, there was the place where they had the party, but that was such a small
part of the beginning of the movie. Yeah.
And the parking lot outside of it where they get abducted.
Yeah.
But everything, I mean, 80% of the movies at the zoo.
Yeah. So yeah, again, that's just I always push on just how easy that shoot, not how easy the shoot was, but like just how minimal and simple he keeps everything.
Right.
So, yeah, big fan of Split.
I urge everybody who has not seen it to see it.
Even though we probably ruined it, for you.
Yeah, I don't know that it ruins it for him, because the amazement of the movie is the performances.
Yeah. Yeah.
More than any twist or any, because there is no twist. There's no giving away really anything on it. It is just outstanding performances by everybody.
Out of 10, Patrick.
I'm going to say 9.5.
Yeah.
It's up there really high for me.
I'm going to agree with that as well. It said it took, like you said, it took movie of the year for me so far. So, favorite what I've seen. So
yeah. I can't give it its highest score as I'm going to give Get Out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a solid 9.5.
Yeah. And Get Out comes out Tuesday.
Does it?
23rd.
Awesome.
So if you have not seen Get Out, we will talk about that on the future podcast. Go check that movie out as well, because not only is it awesome, but when we talk about it, you'll know what we're talking about. So, you want to do plugs right quickly?
Plugs. Website is Midnight Fright Film. No, just midnightfright.com. God, it's been forever since.
It's midnightfrightfilms.com.
Is it Midnight Film?
It is midnightfrightfilms.com.
Lord, it's been forever since we plugged anything.
We've just have not been in the the realm of
casting.
the casting and the film.
MidnightFrightFilms.com.
That's the one.
There we go. We've got some pictures posted there. We've got some videos posted there. We've got our podcasts posted there if you haven't run across them on the website and are visiting us through iTunes or Google Play.
YouTube is it'll direct you directly to wow, the talking is awesome tonight. It will direct you directly to it will take you directly to the YouTube page as well, where all of our short films are posted. Yeah. So we're also the Midnight Frightcast on Facebook, Midnight Fright Films on Facebook. Next, before we do the next podcast, we're going to do our vocal warm-ups.
We're going to read some stuff beforehand.
And did you have any other plugs, Patrick, before I drop the last one?
No, I don't.
So right about now is the time we start talking about the Prairie Lights Film Festival as well. So do not forget to check out the Prairie Lights Film Festival. It's coming up here October 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Patrick, I believe, is going to check those dates, but I believe I'm correct on those. 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of October. It takes place in Grand Island, Nebraska at the historic Grand Theater. Tickets are $10. I believe those are available now for pre-order. Yep. It's going to get you tickets for the whole weekend, every screening, free popcorn, free soda. It's going to get you into the after parties, all the discounts at the local restaurants. It is a fantastic time. Come out and hang out with the filmmakers. Look at all the Nebraska filmmakers' work that they've put all their time into. We have Ghost Hunters playing out there this year as part of the Flatwater Terror Project. Patrick directed that one. It is just an overall fantastic, cheap weekend. You don't have to come out there for the whole weekend either. You can buy individual tickets, $5 a day. Gets you into every movie for that day. I say spend the extra $5 and hang out for the weekend. Even if you don't hang out for the whole weekend, it's still going to get you those vouchers for the free pop and popcorn. Yep. And that's worth the $5 alone.
Well, and that extra $5 goes to helping keep Prairie Lights going.
Yeah, all the funds go directly actually to the Grand Theater. Those volunteers out there work their asses off the whole weekend. Right. And they just put on a fantastic film festival. Matt Keister's been doing it. This will be his 5th year. I believe this is his I'm going out year.
This is his transition year.
And then Pope Joy is going to take over, and he's going to do an awesome job. So, check out Prairie Lights Film Festival. They're on Facebook as well. Yep. They've announced a ton of awesome films so far already.
Yeah, visit prairielightsfilmfest.com is their website. It is indeed October 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Fuck, I blew that.
Yep, you're off by one day. It is 20th, 21st, and 22nd of October in Grand Island, Nebraska. Check out their website. Once again, prairielightsfilmfest.com. And I just wanted to add that Tom and I, as part of Crooked Codpiece, working with Dream Awake, which is this whole thing with Midnight Fright Films, we are submitting a comedy piece this year. There are 2 other focuses this year. It's science fiction,
sci-fi,
and comedy.
Yep.
And Tom and I, with our group Crooked Codpiece, we are submitting a film short called The Contest, starring Tom and Sally Vanderberg. Very nice. Yeah.
News.
That is news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
You'll be hearing a lot about the Prairie Lights Film Festival over the next few months because we will drop it on here every single time we cast. So, is that everything?
I think that's it.
I think we can wrap up the Midnight Fright. The Midnight Frightcast. Please, God, send help. The talking is crazy. For the Midnight Frightcast, I'm Josh.
I'm Patrick.
And we'll see you later.